Hello and welcome to yet another lecture on power generation and economics, paper code EE704C. Myself, Prathita Roy, Assistant Professor of Dr. Sudhir Chandra Institute of Technology and Sports Complex, Department of Electrical Engineering. Today, my topic is subsidization and cross subsidization, pool tariff of transmission companies. Lesson objective. After end of this topic, student will able to understand the concept of subsidization and cross subsidization. They will also able to understand the concept of pool tariff. So, subsidization. The term subsidy means that subsidy is a transfer of money from the government to an entity. It leads to a fall in the price of subsidized product. So it is clear that subsidy is a transfer of money from government. So subsidy, or it can be said that it is a government initiative, is a form of financial aid or support extended to an economic sector. The economic sector like business or individual with the aim of promoting economic and social policy. So, generally subsidy is the government initiative and it provides the financial aid or support to the business or individual that is generally known as the economic sector. The basic aim is to promoting the economic or the social policy. Although commonly extended from government, the term subsidy can relate to any type of support. For example, from NGOs or an implicit or as implicit subsidies means commonly extended from the government, the subsidy can relate to any type of supports. So it is clear that the subsidy is a government funding or the government incentive. So subsidies come in various forms, including a direct subsidies means that from a cash grants, interested fee loans, etc. That is called the direct mode of subsidies. Another is the indirect mode of subsidies. The indirect mode of subsidies come in the form of tax breaks, insurance, low interest loans, accelerated depreciation, rent rebates. So the subsidies are generally coming in the form of direct one and another is the indirect one. So the direct one is the form of cash grant, interest free loans, and the indirect one are the tax breaks, insurance, low interest loans, accelerated depreciation, rent rebates, etc. So, description. The objective of subsidy is to foster the welfare of the society. It is a part of non-planned expenditure of the government. Major subsidies in India are petroleum subsidy, fertilizer subsidy, food subsidy, interest subsidy, etc. So these are the major subsidies that is provided in our country. So the subsidies can be broad or narrow, legal or illegal, ethical or unethical. The most common forms of subsidies are those to the producer or the consumers. So, producer or the production subsidies ensure products are better off by either supplying market price support, direct support, or payments to factors of production. So, production subsidies ensure the products are better off. Means it's ensure that the products that will be better by either supplying market price support, direct support, or payments to factors of production. Another one is the consumer or consumption subsidies. That is commonly reduce the price of goods and the services to the consumer. For example, in USA, at one time it was cheaper to buy gasoline than a bottled water. So the consumer or the consumption subsidies, they are generally commonly reduce the price of goods and the services to the consumer. So the subsidies can be viewed from the producer or the production or also viewed from the consumer end or the consumption end. So this is the entire scenario of the subsidy and the conception of subsidization. So subsidy is the transfer of money from the government, or in other words, it can be told as a or said as a government incentive in the form of financial aid or support extend to an economic sector. Cross subsidization. Cross subsidization is the practice of charging higher prices to one group of consumers to subsidize lower price for another group. State trading enterprises with monopoly control over marketing agriculture exports are sometimes adjudged to cross-subsidize, but lack of transparency in the operation markets is difficult, if not possible, to determine if that is the case. So, with the help of that particular, this is the main focus on the in order to understand the conception of cross subsidization. It is said that cross subsidization is the practice of charging higher prices to one group of consumers to subsidize lower prices for another group. With the help of an example, we can able to understand this line. So suppose Alex goes to dinner with two of his friends. One is Leo and another is Lee. So Alex meal cost means he take a meal of cost say rupees 25. Lee take a meal of rupees 20 and Leo take a meal of rupees 15. So their total bill is 25 plus 20 plus 15 is the 60. Now, everyone decided that they have to split the bill evenly. Means total 60 and they are 3%, so 60 divided by 3. So each one have to pay a 20. But it is seen that the new meal cost is 15, okay, and Alex meal cost is 25. So it is clear that the Alex meal is under costed and Leo cross subsidize Alex for rupees 5. So it is clear that the Alex meal is under costed, but Leo have to cross subsidize. Leo has to cross subsidize Alex for rupees 5. Lean is neither cross subsidized nor cross subsidized anyone else because his meal is 20, so he has to pay the 20. But it is clear that the Alex meal is under cost because Alex meal is rupees is price of the Alex meal is 25, but he have to pay the 20 rupees. But whether the Leo meal is 50, but he have to pay the 20 rupees. So it is that the Leo cross subsidized Alex for the rupees of 25. So with the help of this example, you can easily understand that cross subsidization is the practice of charging higher prices to one group of consumers to subsidize lower prices for another group of consumers. So this line is very much clear the conception of cross subsidization. In many countries, telecommunications, including broadband access, postal services, electricity tariffs, and collective tariff, among others, are cross subsidized. In some cases, there is a universal price selling for the services, leading to cross subsidize, benefiting the areas for which the cost of provision are high. So this is the general conception of cross subsidization. Now, we will concentrate on the pool tariff of transmission companies. The conception of pool tariff of transmission companies. So, power pooling is used to balance electrical load over a larger network that is called electric grid than a single utility. Means the conception of power pooling means if I take the conception of a pool, so the power pooling done over a large area or a larger network that is generally called the electric grid in order to balance the electric load. It is a mechanism for interchange of power between two and more utilities which overhead or generate electricity. So it is a mechanism that will interchange the power between the two or more utilities. So it's a clear conception that the power exchanging between the two utilities means we have to sign an agreement between the two utilities. But it is clear that the power between the two utilities there is an interchange agreement which is signed by them. But signing of an interchange agreement between each pair of utilities within a system can be a difficult task where the several large utilities are interconnected. So it is clear that it is very much clear that signing up the agreement between the two utilities is very much big difficult because we are concentrating on the conception of pool, power pooling. So means there are there are many numbers of utilities that are connected in order to form a pool. So it cannot be signed between the two utilities. So it's a difficult task for the transmission company to sign the agreement. But general conception of the pool tariff is to balance or supply the electrical load over a larger network, generally known as electric grid, rather than concentrating on the single utility. It is generally used to supply the power over a larger network. So, the formation of power pools provide the following potential advantages. So, what are the basic advantages to form a power pool? The advantages are decrease in operating cost. When I operate in a power pool, we decrease the total operating cost. Saving in reserve capacity requirements. A reserve capacity is there within the system in order to counter the in uncertain load demand or any uncertain behavior of the system to counter that. That reserve capacity is there within the system. So it will save the reserve capacity requirements. Help from pool in unit commitment. So unit commitment means the unit means the generator or in other words, it is said the alternators that are connecting together. It is generally used to help the from pool in unit commitment. Another part is the minimization of costs of maintenance scheduling. So it is generally minimize the maintenance scheduling cost of the entire system. So the maintenance scheduling cost of the entire system can also be minimized and more reliable. Yes, if number of utilities are connected in a electrical network, it will be more reliable in case of the operation. So the advantages are the decrease in operating costs, saving in reserve capacity requirements, help from pool in unit commitment, minimization of costs of maintenance scheduling, more reliable operation. The formation of power pool is associated with a number of problems and constraints. So these are the pool agreement may be very complex, but I have told that if a pool means that the interconnected system between a number of utilities. So if I make a agreement, it will be very much difficult or very much complex. So it is clear that the pool agreement is very much complex phenomenon. Cost associated with established central dispatch office and needed communication and computational facility. So the cost that is associated with the establishing central dispatch office and the needed communication and computational facilities. It is also needed the communication and the computational facilities. And the cost will be there to establish the central dispatch office. The opposition of pool members to give up their rights to engage in independent transaction outside the pool. The opposition of pool members to give up their rights because the opposition pool members they have to give up the rights to engage in independent transaction that is done, independent transaction that will be done outside the pool. The complexity towards dealing with regularity authorities if pool operates in more than one state. If the pool is operating more than one state, there is a complexity towards the dealing with regularity authorities. The effort by each member of the pool to maximize its savings. So the savings of the particular pool will be maximized by the effort of the effort by the each member of the pool. So the power pooling is very important for extending energy control over a large area served by multiple utilities. So I have told that the conception of power pooling is to provide power to a large area or the larger electrical network. So this conception is very much there in the system in order to provide the power to a larger area. So we have learned about the conception of subsidy, the conception of cross subsidization, and the conception of pool tariff. So the subsidy is nothing but the government incentive that is provided by the government that is in the form of a financial aid or the support to extend to an economic sector such as the business sector or the individual sector. Generally, aim of this subsidy is to promoting economic and social policy. The cross subsidization conception is there that we have seen with the help of an example how the conception of the cross subsidization occurs. And another conception is the pool tariff, where the electricity or the electric demand can be nullified or in order to meet the electrical load or a larger network that is called the electric grids. That is, we have to serve a multiple area that is known as pool tariff. Thank you.